lastly this week, I want to big up my man right here. See, he gets it. In order to live a life that you love, you have to get rid of the evil and the negativity, even if that evil and negativity is related. A couple years ago, I got wind that there was an older cousin who was above 18 who was quite possibly having sex with her. So I called, as a father should.
This will forever change how you look at Brian McKnight. He was once known as the smooth-voiced R&B crooner who sang about love, heartbreak, and redemption.
Brian McKnight's daughter Brianna filed a lawsuit against her father in 2020, accusing him of being motivated by animosity when he told his followers that she had engaged in sexual relations with an older cousin when she was a minor.
But behind the soft ballads and charming smile is a man accused of abandoning his biological children, changing his legal name to cut them off, and calling them products of sin.
It's crazy to me that people will just believe anything, and I thought it was important to set the record straight and let you guys know that abandonment has nothing to do with any of this.
There are disturbing allegations of abuse from his own son, public accusations during a family cancer crisis, and a firestorm of backlash that led to canceled shows and broken fans. From gospel praise to family disgrace, the truth about Brian McKnight isn't just surprising, it's heartbreaking. And once you know it all, you may never hear his music the same way again. Brian McKnight is in the news again. This time, it's not for his music. It's because of something he said about his own children. During a question and answer session on Instagram, he said something that upset a lot of people. He told his fans that he no longer claims his 4 oldest biological children. Their names are Brian Jr., Nico, Brianna, and Clyde. He said they are a product of sin. These words made many fans angry and shocked. In a video, Brian pointed to a comment from a fan who agreed with him. The fan said that sometimes family members can be pure evil. Brian agreed and said, "I want to big up my man right here. He gets it." Brian, who is now 54 years old, said that if someone brings negativity or evil into your life, even if they are family, you have to let them go. He believes that to live a happy life, you must remove all negative people, even if they are your own children. Many people didn't like this message and said it was wrong.
So lastly this week, I want to big up my man right here. See, he gets it. In order to live a life that you love, you have to get rid of the evil and the negativity, even if that evil and negativity is related.
One fan said Brian had turned his back on his children and went against God. Brian answered that person in a sharp way. He said that God wasn't talking about children born from sin, which he believes his older children are. He also said that he didn't raise them, their mothers did. He told the fan to learn the whole story before judging him. He also said the fan was spreading inaccurate negativity and should try to be happy instead. This caused even more backlash online, especially among people who believe a father should always love and support his kids.
When I put them out of my house, I gave them an apartment for 2 years. And I said, guys, this is it. This is the time to grow up. I'm giving you 2 years. I'm going to pay for everything for 2 years, but you're going to have to work or do something because at the end of those 2 years, that's going to be it. It's time to be men.
Years before all this, Brian had already started to distance himself from his older children. He even changed his legal name. He now goes by Brian Kainoa Makoa McKnight Sr. He chose this new name to match his newborn son from his current wife, Leilani Mendoza. Some people think this was Brian's way of cutting ties with his past and focusing only on his new family. Changing your name to match one child while ignoring the others made a lot of people feel that Brian was being unfair. Things got even worse when his son Nico said Brian had treated him badly in the past. Nico said that when he was only 15 years old, his dad made him clean up used condoms from his bathroom. Brian denied this and said again that he didn't raise Nico, so the story couldn't be true. Brian repeated that their mothers raised them, not him. These statements made the family problems even more public.
Nico McKnight came forward to explain that he has been trying to tell the world that his father is not a great guy.
There was also a problem between Brian and his ex-wife, Julie. In April 2024, Brian said Julie stopped him from helping Nico while Nico was fighting stage 4 cancer. Julie strongly denied this. She said Brian was not telling the truth and that he was lying to the public. This made the situation more painful and confusing for everyone watching.
I guess one of my only faults is that I gave my children everything that I didn't have in the hopes that they would appreciate it, because I know how much I would have appreciated it.
Even with all this drama, Brian says he is happy with his current life. He talks a lot about his love for his wife, Leilani, and their son. He often posts about his new family and seems to be focused only on them. He says he wants peace and love in his life. But to many people, cutting off your own kids doesn't look like peace. It looks like pain. That is not the only problem McKnight is facing. His daughter, Brianna, also took legal action against him.
I would tell you as parents out there, entitling your children is probably one of the worst things you can do, and I know I am guilty of that.
Brian McKnight's daughter Brianna filed a lawsuit against her father in 2020, accusing him of being motivated by animosity when he told his followers that she had engaged in sexual relations with an older cousin when she was a minor.
She sued him for saying something terrible about her on the internet. She said he lied and claimed that she had been in a sexual relationship with her own cousin when she was a teenager.
A couple years ago, I got wind that there was an older cousin who was above 18 who was quite possibly having her. So I called, as a father should.
That kind of statement is not only hurtful, but also very damaging. Brianna said that he made this false claim out of anger and hate. She had posted about growing up with an absent father, but she did not mention his name. Even so, Brian reacted by attacking her character publicly. Many people were surprised that a father would speak that way about his own daughter. Brianna's lawsuit said that her father's actions were done to ruin her name and make people think badly of her. According to her, she only shared her feelings about not having her father around when she was young. But instead of understanding, McKnight went online and accused her of something awful. He said there was talk that she was involved with an older cousin. He also said that her mother only had her to get money from him. These are harsh words that many believe should not come from a father, especially not in public. His comments hurt not just Brianna, but also his image. As more people heard about these accusations, they started to change how they saw McKnight. In early 2025, the Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival announced that Brian McKnight would be performing. Right away, many people were upset. They felt it was wrong for him to be invited to such a big event, given all the problems and serious claims against him. People posted angry comments on the festival's Facebook page. Some said the organizers were out of touch. Others said that McKnight's shows haven't been doing well because people no longer want to support him. Even though the comments were later deleted, the damage was already done. Fans questioned why someone with so much public trouble was still being celebrated. They talked about how some of his concerts had been canceled before because no one was buying tickets. Even when prices were lowered, people still didn't want to attend. This showed how much the public opinion about him had changed. People seemed to be sending a clear message. They didn't want to support a singer who treats his own children poorly. The backlash continued to grow. One of McKnight's concerts at the Motor City Casino Hotel in Detroit was canceled. Although the official reason was not given, many believe it had to do with his troubled relationship with his older children. His recent comments had upset many people. He had called his older kids products of sin and said he was now only focused on the children he has with his current wife. He even added senior to his name because of his new son, as if to say the old children no longer matter to him. This made fans very angry. After the concert cancellation, people on social media had a lot to say. Some used his own song lyrics to make fun of him. One person wrote, "Welp, he's gotta start back at 1." Using a line from his song, Back at 1. Another person joked using the lyrics from his song, Anytime. These posts showed that even longtime fans had lost respect for him. When people start making jokes about your music instead of praising it, that means things have really gone bad. This was not just about his music anymore. It had become personal. Brian has also been in and out of court many times. And it's not just one issue. He has been dealing with lawsuits from his ex-wife, his former manager, record labels, and even faced a serious accusation from a woman. All of this has made headlines and shocked many of his fans. One big legal issue comes from his ex-wife. She says Brian McKnight has not paid any child support since they got divorced in 2014. In court papers, she said he owes more than $150,000. That's a lot of money. Child support is money paid to help take care of your children after a divorce.
I've never missed a day of child support. I've never done anything adverse to my children whatsoever.
She says he hasn't helped financially at all, even though he still makes money from his music and shows. This has made many people question his responsibility as a father. In another case, Brian's former manager also took him to court. The manager said Brian broke their contract and didn't pay him the money he earned. He claimed Brian owed him more than $300,000 in commissions. A commission is money paid for helping someone get work or make deals. The manager believed he helped Brian get jobs and make money, but was never paid fairly for his work. This added to the legal problems Brian was already facing. Brian also had trouble with record labels. Back in 2010, he sued Universal Records. He said the company didn't do enough to promote his music. Promoting means getting the music heard by more people, like through radio or ads. Brian felt they didn't support him the way they promised. The case didn't go to trial. Instead, they reached a deal outside of court. That means they talked privately and came to an agreement without a judge deciding. On top of the money issues, in 2016, Brian was accused of something even more serious. A masseuse said he touched her in the wrong way during a massage. She stayed anonymous, meaning she didn't give her name to the public. Brian denied the claim, saying it never happened. Even though no charges were made in court, the accusation still hurt his image. Being accused of something like this can damage a person's reputation, especially if they are in the public eye. Also in the past Mother's Day, singer Brian caused a big mess on the internet. He posted a sweet message to his wife, Leilani, to honor her as a mother. The post was touching and emotional. He talked about how special she is and how much he misses their son, Kikoa Mateo, who passed away. But many people online were not happy with what he left out of the post.
The me that you see now, everything about me, everything that I think is the greatest me that there's ever been can be attributed to the fact that I found Leilani.
In the picture he shared, Brian was holding Leilani's pregnant belly. Next to them were two children, Julia and Jack. The picture looked like a happy family moment, but people quickly noticed something missing. His other children. Brian has other kids, Brianna, Nico, and Brian Jr. They were not in the picture, and they were not even mentioned in the message. Fans started asking questions. Why were they left out? Did he forget about them? The message continued with more kind words for Leilani. Brian said, "Today was supposed to be Kikoa's due date." He said it was a hard day, and they missed their baby. He said Julia and Jack were shining examples of how great Leilani is as a mom. Then he added something that made people really upset. He said, "For the very first time in my life, I got to experience what it's like to want to and plan to have a child made from love." That made it seem like he never loved or planned for his older children. It sounded like he was saying that his past kids didn't matter. The words may have been meant to show deep love and loss, but people read them another way. Many saw the post as a slap in the face to his older children. Instead of feeling sorry for his loss, fans felt angry. They felt he was praising his new family and ignoring the old one. One line in the post stood out. "I've never been prouder in my life than I am right now, being the father to our 3 incredible children." But Brian has more than 3 children. This sentence made it sound like the others didn't exist. That's when things exploded online. People on social media began to speak out. They said Brian had forgotten his other children. They said he was picking favorites and hurting his older kids. Some fans were sad. Others were angry. They remembered Brian as the singer of love songs, but now he seemed like someone who was turning his back on his own children. The internet turned his Sweet Mother's Day post into a storm of angry comments and judgment. As people talked more about it, an old video from 2019 came back online. In that video, Brian talked about his family. The timing was bad. People were already upset, and the video made things worse. In the video, Brian said he had never truly loved anyone before his wife, Leilani. This made fans even more upset. It felt like he was erasing his past life and children.
That's the funny thing. I don't have to even think about lyrics anymore. I just look at her, and she is a song every day.
After all the anger online, Brian tried to respond. He posted again on Instagram. This time, he shared old pictures of his older kids. He said, "Not sure how these posts that have been sitting here this whole time were left out of the false narrative that is trending." He wanted people to believe he did not abandon his children. He told people to stay tuned, like more would come, but fans were not convinced. The photos he shared were old. There were no new pictures showing he was still part of their lives. People thought he was trying to fix things with memories, not actions.
We talk about abandonment. I'm not abandoning them. We are estranged, which happened.
Later, on May 12, 2023, Brian posted another message on Instagram stories. He wrote, "To whom it may concern, no abandonment, no made-up story, no false statements, no defamation." He wanted to clear his name. He said he never left his children.
Less than 2 years ago, these are the two gentlemen who stood up for me as my best man in my wedding. So abandonment, deadbeat dad, I'll reiterate, I've never missed a day of child support. I've been there every step of the way.
He said they were all distant from each other and that it was not just his fault. He ended by saying, "I changed my will the next day." That meant he made it legal that only his new family would get his things if he died. That upset fans even more.
It's crazy to me that people will just believe anything, and I thought it was important to set the record straight and let you guys know that abandonment has nothing to do with any of this.
Back then, in 2012, McKnight shocked his fans by releasing a very different kind of song. The song was called "If You're Ready to Learn," and it was not like the sweet, romantic songs he was known for.
I have lots of things to show you if you're ready to learn.
This new song had very strong words and talked openly about adult topics. Many fans were surprised and upset because Brian had always made love songs that were soft and respectful. Also, people knew that Brian came from a Christian background. So this type of song did not match the values they thought he had. Some felt disappointed, while others were simply confused. They didn't understand why he would release a song like that.
I decided to go there just to see what would happen, because I was in the club listening to a girl sing "Beat Your Pussy Up." And I asked her, "Do you have any idea what you're singing?" She was like, "I just do."
Brian did not stay silent. He spoke up and explained why he made the song. He said it was meant to be a joke, a parody, not something to be taken too seriously. He said he made the song during a time in his life when he had some free time and wasn't working as much. According to him, the song was just for fun and not meant to shock or hurt anyone. He wanted people to see the song as a silly moment, not something to judge him for. But even with this explanation, many people still didn't feel comfortable with the song. They thought it was too much, too direct, and just didn't fit the man they thought they knew. Some people in the public supported McKnight. Actor and singer Tyrese Gibson was one of them. Tyrese said people were being too hard on McKnight and that everyone has the right to express themselves in different ways. Tyrese tried to tell people to relax and not make a big deal out of it, but this made things worse in a different way. McKnight's own son, Nico, didn't like that Tyrese was defending his father. Nico went online and told Tyrese to worry about his own family instead of speaking up for Brian. This made the family drama even more public. Now, let's talk about his career. In 1998, Brian joined Motown Records. This was a big moment in his career. He released a Christmas album called Bethlehem. It was his first album with Motown, and he went on to make 4 more with the label. That same year, he also appeared on the popular TV show Sister Sister. He played a college professor and was in several episodes. Many fans loved seeing him on TV because they were used to hearing his voice in songs, but now they could watch him act too. In 1999, McKnight released an album called Back at One. This album became his biggest hit. It sold over 3 million copies. The title song, Back at One, became very popular and is still loved today.
You're like a dream come true.
The album made it to number 7 on the Billboard 200 chart. This was a big achievement. Only 4 of his albums have made it to the top 10, and Back at One was the first to reach that high. It helped him grow even more popular as both a singer and songwriter. In 2004, Brian McKnight worked with an Australian singer named Guy Sebastian. They wrote a song together called Wait.
Baby, I will wait for you.
This song was part of Guy's album, Beautiful Life. McKnight didn't just work in America, he also worked with international artists. This showed that his music reached people all over the world. He was not just a singer, but also a talented writer, helping other singers make great music too. In 2005, McKnight signed with Warner Brothers Records. A year later, in December 2006, he released an album called 10. It was his only album with that company. The album had 3 singles: Find Myself in You,
Till I find myself in you.
Used to Be My Girl,
And when she was my girl, she used to be my girl.
and What's My Name.
What's my name? Can you say it? What's my name?
One of these songs was used in a Tyler Perry movie. Around the same time, he started performing in musicals and made his debut on Broadway in the show Chicago. He showed people that he could do more than just sing. He could act and perform live too. Between 2006 and 2010, McKnight became a radio host. He worked on The Brian McKnight Morning Show in Los Angeles. He talked to fans, played music, and shared stories. He also hosted a night show in New York City. In 2009, he joined the TV show Celebrity Apprentice, raising money for a charity called Youthville, USA. Later, in 2010, he even had his own late-night talk show on TV, where he interviewed guests and performed songs. Brian also sang the national anthem at many important sports games. He sang at NBA and MLB events, sometimes with his sons. Fans loved hearing him perform live. In 2012, he surprised people by making a funny adult song as a joke about the state of R&B music. Some people didn't like it, but others thought it was just McKnight trying to say something serious in a funny way.